Hi, I'm Maggie from maggiescrochet.com, and in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about sewing buttons onto your crochet pieces. We had a request on Facebook for how to sew snaps on, and a lot of this applies to snaps or buttons, but in this video I'm going to go over buttons, and in a separate video I'll go over some options for snaps. So a lot is going to be determined by the thickness of the piece that you're sewing the buttons to, and your choice of buttons. So for instance, this project right here has huge buttons, and it usually would have bigger holes, but you have to decide how you're going to sew it on based on the size of the hole too. And I guess that's more a determinant than anything. But let's say you wanted to, you had a thread project, and you wanted to sew these tiny little buttons onto a thread design, like a little thread baby sweater or something. So you're going to have a needle that's going to go through the holes here with the thread on it, with the sewing thread, or you could use crochet cotton thread size 10 or size 20 if you have that, or 30, but most people don't have that. They usually have 10 if they have any thread. But you could use sewing thread on a button this small with the holes that small. But you have to make sure before you even start that your needle, let's open up one of these needles. These needles are available at maggiescrochet.com. You have to make sure that the needle is going to slide through here, and this is actually too big because, well, it does go through on one side, but it doesn't go through the other, I don't think. Yeah, it's kind of tight there. So if I had my thread on here, it would not go through. So you want to check both or all of the holes in the button also to make sure that you can get your needle through there. So once you pick your buttons, then you'll have to pick a needle that will slide easily through the buttons, and then you use as thick a thread as you can because of the weight of the yarn is different from a fabric. Like if it were a fabric, you could just use this every time you're sewing a button on. But with this, you want to try to use a thicker thread to sew these on. As thick as possible that you can use. And if you can get away with using the actual yarn that you used in your crochet design, that's great too. But you'd have to have, like for this is a sport weight yarn, you'd have to have some pretty big holes here. And they do have buttons that have the big holes. But if you wanted to sew this on, you could probably get away with this needle, would be fine. And you'd probably have to use, you could probably use like crochet cotton thread size 10 to sew that on there. So right now I am going to show you how to sew these two buttons onto this right here. So I am also going to use, okay, so I want as big of a needle as I can use, because then the needle can accommodate the bigger thread. So this right here slides easily through that button. So I want to put big buttons on this cowl that I just made. And I am going to use crochet cotton thread size 10. If I tried to use a sport weight cotton that I have here, there's no way that that would fit through the button. And if I used regular sewing thread, I would be worried that that would break off because it wouldn't be thick enough. So I think that this crochet cotton thread size 10 is going to be good. And I'm going to try to do my little folding thing where I fold it over the side of the eye of the needle, I open up my pinch fingers and I slide the fold through the eye of the needle, and it worked. Okay, so then I'm gonna cut my length of thread, probably about 24 inches, fold it in half like this. Okay, so move my thread out of the way, move these needles and buttons out of the way. Now, because my stitches are so thick here, I'm going to just use, these buttons are able to fit through the stitches, so I'm not going to worry about you know, buttonholes on this design. So I'm just going to sew this to this, and this is the type of button that has holes in it, and this is the type of button that has the little metal ring on the back. So I'll show you each one. Right now I'm going to sew this one on here. So here's the front, and I'm going to do this right-handed because I'm actually left-handed, but I crochet right-handed, but I like to sew left-handed. So anyway, you go through here and you want to secure it close to where the button's going to be. So you know the button's right here. So I'm going to hold a finger on each side there. I'm going to come out a little ways away from the center where I know the center of the button is. And I'm going to go with my needle in towards the center of the button back here. And I'm going to pull really slow here so this doesn't pull out. And then right where I came out, I'm going to go back in again, just a little behind it, so I can lock it. See how I did that? Then I'm going to go over that again. My aunt was a seamstress and she used to tell me 7 times, but I usually don't have patience to do 7. So I'll just do 3 here. And you could choose what color you want to use. I'm just doing white so it shows up in the video. Okay, so now I'm somewhere near the center of that button. So I'm going to turn it over to the right side, and then I'm going to poke my needle up here so I can get the button lined up, and then come to the front side right here, and then I'm going to line it up like this, and I'm going to go straight down to the back side, to the wrong side. And +2, you want to make sure your button is being sewn on the right side. With this, it's a basket weave stitch, so there really isn't a right and a wrong side to this. Okay, so I'm on the wrong side, and then I move over just a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch right here, and I'm going to go back to the front side. Okay, and so just go down. This might be where you want to do it 7 times. And then I'm going to move over a little bit. And I'm going to pull tight to make sure. You don't want to pull real tight because you've got the bulk of the crochet stitches holding it in place. And then I came out here in the back. And then I'll work my way to the front if I can, right there, like that. So then it's getting kind of tight now in those little holes there. So I'm going to finish it off here, and I would just go to where I was, you know, going round and round with the thread, and just keep going around the back a little bit. Okay, then I go over that a couple more times. Then I'd go in here and then go out about 1 inch right there, like that. And then make sure, well, I got I had this folded over, so now it's 2 strands, so that's all right. And I cut flat, I don't cut into the work, like that. And then I got a button sewn on. So then I could go like this, and have it go between the double crochet stitches like that. Isn't that cute? Nice. Okay, so now I will sew this one on here. So I'm going to use the same needle and thread, except I need another piece. I'm going to thread that on there. Okay, so I have it folded over like that. Now I'm going to place it on the front where I want it to be. Then I'm going to move it. I'm going to hold it there in place and go to the wrong side. And this time, it's going to be a little different because I got to find that metal ring that's right there. I got to find it on the wrong side. And so what I want to do is I see it right there, but I'm going to move it so it's like spaced between a stitch, like the bulk of a stitch. So I have something to attach it to. So I'm going to move it to its right, like there, and I'm going to come in from the side, like this. See right there? And my hook is right under there. The metal ring is right under there. I've got to pull really slow here. See that little end there? I could leave that long if I wanted to and then just come back and snip it later, but I'll risk it like that. Okay, so now my ring is right here underneath the bulk of a double crochet stitch right there. So I'm gonna go to this side of it. Well, let me see, I can't see it yet. Let's say I need to find it in there. Okay, so it's right in there. And I just have to find it in there. Okay, right there. I've like put the bulk of a stitch over the top of it, and I'm coming in this side of the metal ring on the back of the button, and I'm just gonna come out the other side. And that way I'm catching a bulk piece of yarn that will hold it on there. So I'm gonna go through there like that. I still want to be really slow on pulling this through because it hasn't really been secured yet. So I'm going to keep doing that and just make sure you can lift it forward to know that you're definitely inside that ring. And just keep doing that. Doesn't want to come through. I don't know why that is. Okay, now I can kind of tighten it because I'm not worried about that slipping out anymore. All right, so see, I can see the metal ring right here, so I could come in underneath it here, and right there I'm coming up through the center of that metal ring. See, this will be kind of hidden when it's, you know, over on the right side. All right, so you just keep going. Probably at least 7 times, like my aunt used to say, to lock it. Like that. And then once you've gone over that, you want to come down here and just go out about an inch. Right here, and then lay your scissors flat and just cut. Okay, so that's how you do a button that has a little metal ring on the back. So that's how you sew buttons on a crochet design, and that's how you sew them on this bulky cowl here. So I hope this helps you to master your crochet, and I hope that you visit us at maggiescrochet.com and join our YouTube channel. And we're coming out with new videos every single week. And this is another video that we have, that's the basket weave cowl, or you could make it into a scarf too. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed the video.